Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode. I'm so excited to have you here. We are in the process of going through my Burnout Breakthrough Accelerator that I originally put on for my students in the Quitter Club, my paid membership. I figured I would bring it to the podcast. If you are listening to this episode, then you have missed a couple. You can go back and listen to those. But we will continue every week to play one of the classes that will teach you a pillar of getting out of burnout, right? A skill that you need in order to take back your life and have a little bit more time and joy and control. We will go through all 6 weeks, and you don't have to master all of them. You don't have to know all of them. You don't have to apply all of them, but you can pick up one or two skills that will help alleviate a lot of the pressure that we all tend to put on ourselves. So I hope you enjoy this. We're going to jump in and continue with our Burnout Breakthrough Accelerator. Hello, my friends. Welcome to our final week. Well, I guess that's not true. It's the final week of teaching in our 6 weeks of the Burnout Breakthrough Accelerator. Why I say that's not true is because next week we will do a final call on coaching on all of the stuff. I know we have asked kind of questions and you guys have an open coaching call, but I wanted to do one specific coaching call for this 6 weeks of Burnout Breakthrough. And so please come next week and bring all of your questions. But if you're trying to implement this stuff and it's not working, or you get stuck, or you don't even know where to start, you're kind of overwhelmed by all of them or whatnot, please bring it to the coaching call next week and we'll talk about it. Today, in our 6th and kind of final installment, I feel like we finally get to the fun things to get rid of burnout. I feel like 5 weeks was everything that was sort of hard, everything that was, it's in the end a very beautiful thing, but it's really hard to do in the short term when you're going through it. Delegating things, cutting things out, saying no to people, dropping your manuals, all of those things require a little bit of work in the beginning when you're doing them. But we're finally in the last week at the place where hopefully the lesson for today brings you joy, because that's the entire point of it. This week, we will talk about living your dream life now. And the reason I say this is that there is no getting out of burnout. There is no getting out of this feeling that so many of us have that's this can't be it. My life cannot be just wake up every day, do a bunch of shit I don't want to do, take care of everything I have to take care of, go to bed and wake up the next day. And there's a reason so many of us feel so unfulfilled and not even unhappy. I think unhappy is not the right word, but joyless. There isn't really much change in our day-to-day. There isn't a lot of things. It's very monotonous. And yes, we have a couple things. We all have things to look forward to, like a vacation or holidays are coming or my birthday or whatever. Those are great. And those tend to keep us going. But what am I doing in the day-to-day, right? And I want to talk about how we change how we think about our lives, and very simple things that you can do that have very huge impact. I think it seems very mundane, but it is the thing that will change really how you approach your life. Sarah says, oh my gosh, yes, I have that thought all the time that every day is just full of things I don't want to do. For most of it is because, I don't know, that's what adulting is. That's the society we've created for ourselves. And I think that it's good to acknowledge. I think a lot of times, what's fascinating is that most of us spend all day doing things we don't want to do. And then we tell ourselves that we're not consistent and we're not disciplined and we're not, we beat ourselves up that we're not good at that stuff. And it's look how consistent and disciplined we are. We're constantly doing crap we don't have to do just to take care of ourselves and our kids and our spouses and our parents and everything else. We are very responsible, adjusted humans that learned how to survive in this kind of society. And that's something to be proud of. But I think along the way, we forget that if joy and laughter and rest and fun is not a part of it, then what is the point? And so that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. One of the concepts that I want you to just understand, and it's a very simple concept, but I think that we forget it, is your life is happening today. This is it right now. There is no, the future and the past are in our minds. They don't exist. And there is no stockpiling of joy. There is no oh, I'm just going to hunker down. And then when I get there, that type of thinking of when I get there has robbed more people of their lives than anything else. This idea of like, I can finally kick up my feet. So many of us are like working for retirement. And it's like, you're going to work for 25, 30 more years in order to then maybe enjoy your life a little bit. Like, it's an absurd way to think about life, and we have to change it. You have to really get down to it is not perfect. Your life is not perfect. It will not be perfect. There's tons of things you're going to want to get done. There's tons of things you're going to have to do. Fine. And like a big and I can enjoy it here. Even in my imperfect brain, with my imperfect brain and my imperfect body and all the imperfections that I have, even if in a job I don't love, even in relationships that kind of drain me, whatever it is, with the money that I have, with the time that I have, I can enjoy it now. And I think that we all have to like your brain is going to keep going to, okay, but once I finish this, once the deadline is done, once I get through the summer and the kids go back to school, once and you just have to bring it back. It's like, no, what is today? This is all I have. It's going to keep passing, right? So what can I do today that can bring a little bit of joy? So again, the couple of concepts that I want you to understand is like, one, that your life is now, that in this season, whatever this season is, even if this is a hard season, even if this is a season of transition, even if this is a season of like a lot of confusion, there is still time for joy and rest and fun and play every day. Okay. And it doesn't have to be all or nothing. I think a lot of us really think that like all of this stuff has to take, it's like when I go on vacation and I'm completely unplugged. Well, that doesn't happen more than 1 or 2 times a year or 3 times a year, however much it happens. Or it happens for a day and, we get a couple days off and then we're back in it. So how do we create a life where a lot of the stuff that we want is a part of it every single day with the craziness of life, with work and the demands and everything else, okay? And so I want you to do 2 things. There's 2 assignments for this week, super easy, both of them. And I want you to really um, take the time to do both of these because there's a lot of bang for your buck. Like it doesn't take that much time and it actually makes a lot of things really clear. So the first thing you're going to start with is I just want you to write out what your dream day would look like. If you had everything ideal in what you wanted, let's say you had all the money in the world, you had the means to have the dream day that you want. I'm not talking about like a unique day where you're going on vacation. It's like, oh, I'd go to the Maldives and stuff. Like, great. Those are like fine. But like, what would your day to day look like? And you don't have to know what you're doing for work. You don't have to like understand that. Like, I just want you to get a little bit of like, what time am I waking up? How am I waking up? Like, am I waking up? Maybe you're an early riser and it's like, I get up and I do my yoga and then I have a coffee and my breakfast outside somewhere. Maybe it's that I get to sleep in and I don't have an alarm set ever and I get to sleep as much as my body needs. And then I get up and I get to enjoy my coffee while I read. And then I get to, whatever, like go through your whole day. What does it look like? Who are you hanging out with? What are you doing? Right? What is maybe I'm having some phone calls with some friends and I'm connecting, or I meet up with a friend for coffee and then I get to go volunteer at an animal shelter because I love being around animals. You get the point. If you didn't have to worry about your day-to-day of the current life that you have, what would that dream day look like? One of the things that's sort of eye-opening about this is that a lot of it is very doable. Maybe not every day, but it's stuff that doesn't require, it's not like I'm getting on a private jet and I'm flying to, New York to get a croissant. Like that's not something I dream about, like, yeah, maybe one time, like, would that be a cool experience? Let's say, I don't know, whatever, maybe. But like on my day to day, what do I want? I just want some more peace. Like I would like a day where like I don't have to like get up with an alarm and I get to sleep as much as I want and I get to start my day slower and I get to have a cup of coffee while I read. Like this is my personal dream day, by the way. Like Lizzie says, is this dream work day or dream free day? Great question, Lizzie. You could do both. You can do both. But because work days tend to not be dream days for people, we can leave out that. You can even do like a dream day that's just a non-work day, right? The reason I want you to do this is because I want you to see, first of all, what you're craving, right? So for me, maybe it's just slowness and I'm craving more time to myself and I'm craving more like I can extract that like this is the stuff that I want more of. Right? For some of you it might be like I'm not saying I highly doubt anybody in this, but it's like then I go clubbing and I want like, I'm like, okay, maybe you want some more like spontaneous or like I'm jumping out of an airplane. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what people's dreams are. But you can sort of extract what do I feel like I'm missing that like that is in this dream day that I don't have in my life. Maybe it's connection, right? Maybe it's like I throw a beautiful dinner party and I have my closest friends come over and I get to make like really beautiful meals because I love cooking and that's sort of my happy place. And I get to, I started out at the farmer's market and I get to buy like the most amazing produce from this season. And okay, like kind of understand what is it about that brings me joy that I don't feel like I get right now in my day to day life. And I think that part of it is questioning why can't I do some of this stuff? After you write that down, it's not about, am I going to have that dream day every day? No. But a lot of the stuff that I dream of is not stuff that's outside of my reach. It's not stuff that's too expensive. It's not stuff that is not doable. It's simply that, like, when I started doing this work, I realized, like, okay, yeah, maybe every day I can't wake up without an alarm because I have to wake my kids up to go to school. But, like, on the Saturday and Sunday, I can. And I still don't let myself because I have thoughts about, like, no, you should get up. No, you should do this. Stop being lazy. You should get up and, like, go for a run or whatever. And it's like, no, but what if I shouldn't? What if like my way of really enjoying my life is letting myself, maybe I start with one day and it's like just Sundays, I get to sleep and nobody wakes me up, and I talk to my family about it. Hey, I want one day where you don't come in and wake me up. Like you go downstairs, like my kids go and watch a cartoon until I get up. Let's just say that's like what I want. I know again, for me, one of the things that was really eye opening was like, I just really wanted to start my morning slow. Like I wanted to have a cup of coffee and read a book that isn't related to work. And normally what I would do is like, get the kids up. Everybody's running around. I got my coffee. I'm already late. I got to sit down. I got to do emails. And again, it was so absurd because like I work for myself. Nobody's telling me I have to do that. But I just was because that's what everybody does and that's what you're supposed to do. And oh my God, I have a bunch of emails I have to get to and I have to. And I was like, no, we're going to do 15 minutes of taking our book downstairs and reading and drinking our coffee in peace. There is no race. Nothing's happening. There'll be more to dos when I get there. I don't need to wait until I have this perfect life. I can do that now. As you go through your dream day, there's a lot of things that you'll start noticing. Like, okay, maybe, like I said, if it's connection, that like maybe in my dream day, it includes having all of my friends together, let's just say. Okay, that's like a really good piece of information to understand. Like, that's where a lot of my happiness maybe comes from, is being around a lot of people. And for some of you, it might be the exact opposite. It's like my dream days, I don't see another soul. And I'm just like walking in a forest by myself. I go for a walk, I come home, I take a bath, whatever. Great. If that's it, then like, how do I incorporate that once a week in my life? Not all of it, just parts of it. Okay. So you're going to do this dream day. And then after you do that, you're going to make a list that I call the bliss list. It's my bliss list. Like I constantly reevaluate my bliss lists. And I want you to just start with 10. Sometimes it's hard to come up with things. I promise you, as you do this, you'll start coming up with a lot of other stuff and you can keep adding to it. Just come up with 10 things that bring you joy, that like bring you a little bit of bliss like in your day-to-day life. Okay? That might be enjoying a hot cup of coffee in peace. That might be reading a book. That might be going for a walk. That might be taking, a dance class or an exercise class or whatnot. Could be, like I said, having coffee with a friend or calling a friend and having a conversation. It could also be big things, by the way. Like I'm not saying you can't do things that cost money, but I think oftentimes what I've noticed is that a lot of the stuff that brings us kind of sustained joy in the day to day are not things that we really have to pay for. Maybe it's like a hot bath or a hot shower at night, whatever it might be for you. And maybe it is something that you have to pay for. Maybe it's like going to a local coffee shop every day and getting like a nice sweet treat with my coffee and sitting there for an hour and people watching. Maybe that's what brings me bliss. Okay. Because one of the things you're going to start doing is how can I incorporate something from my bliss list every day? And part of what, you do when you do this, again, a lot of this stuff is just bringing awareness to what we already do, right? It's either bringing awareness to all the stuff we were doing, like in week one, where it's like we were doing the to do list that we wanted to get rid of. It was just bringing awareness of all the things I think in my head every day I should do. I'm just like becoming conscious of it so I can see how absurd it is, so I can change it. With this, we're just bringing awareness and consciousness to a lot of stuff that we already do. What's funny is a lot of things are already on your bliss list that you're doing every day. But we're so rushed in our life that we're not like slowing down to actually enjoy it. Like for me, again, when I was noticing like the coffee thing, I was just kind of gulping down my coffee as I was working, which I say, by the way, as I'm drinking coffee while I work. So I'm not saying that you have to be perfect at this. Today was a morning where I didn't get to enjoy it before. But I started realizing, like, I truly just love, like, actually, like, the taste of coffee and the ritual of making the coffee and, like, sitting down and, like, having a warm, substance, like, calms me down a little bit. And so I started really thinking about, like, I'm already doing this every day. How can I be more present to it? How can I do it in a way that is actually, like, the joy of it comes back to me instead of just, like, now it's just become part of a routine, like, I have to have my coffee. Is it that I sit down with my book? Is it that I sit down with nothing? Is it that, like, I go and sit outside in my backyard and I just sit in, like, the open air under the sun in the beginning of the day and I enjoy this cup of coffee? It might be different things every day, but it's simply like, I'm already doing this. How can I sort of have the most joy when I'm doing this, right? And I think that, like, when I started making these lists, I started realizing, like, oh, I can do a lot of these things every day. It's not even just one. It's like 3, 4, 5 things. If it's going for a walk, if I know that that brings me a little bit of peace in the day and a little bit of calm, then, like, it becomes more of a priority instead of, like, when my brain goes like, "Ah, no, like, there's just a lot going on. The kids need help with their homework and, like, it's not the time after dinner, like, everybody is kind of around." I It's easier for me to realize, like, no, this is actually a really big. It doesn't seem big. It seems like a 20-minute walk around the neighborhood, but to me is a big thing. It helps settle me. It helps calm me down. It helps, like, give me some clarity. It gives me some peace from the incessant mommy, 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 mommy. So funny. I've drawn, like, so many boundaries around it. Like, my daughter constantly wants to come with me on my walks, and I'm like, no, I love you, and no, you're gonna stay home with dad while I go for 20 minutes. Because the whole point of this, like, I don't want to. We can go on another walk together as a family, but, like, this is the time that I need to be able to just, like, in the middle of the day or the middle of the before bedtime routine and all that other stuff, to just calm down. And so that's on my bliss list, and it's something that I go back to, okay? So the entire point of this is figuring out, how do I, instead of waiting until my life is perfect, how do I find more joy and more bliss and more ease and more fun and more rest? Doesn't matter what it is for you in my day-to-day life. If on your bliss list is taking a nap or resting for 20 minutes, like just laying down and reading a book, great. Like, if that's what you need in order to kind of calm yourself down, let's say you come back from work and you're like, I would love if I could come home from work and just give myself 30 minutes of scrolling my phone on the couch. I actually just want to not numb my brain a little bit before I jump in to everything that I have to do at home. Okay, then do it intentionally, right? Then give yourself that space. Then know that that is, like, how you're taking care of yourself so that you can then show up for the next 4 hours with, everybody at home or whatnot. When you start becoming really more intentional about, like, these are the things that really comprise of my dream life. These are the things that comprise of a dream day. These are the things that bring me joy or create more fun in my life. It's easier to make them a priority as opposed to just like, well, yeah, it'd be nice to just enjoy my cup of coffee. It'd be nice to go for a walk. It would be nice, but I can't. And it's like, yeah, you can. You really can. All of you have the ability to do a couple of things every single day that prioritizes your own happiness. And until you do that, then you can't. Burnout's inevitable. If you're never taking the time to enjoy anything, if you're only kind of doing it like, okay, I have to push through all week, maybe on the weekend I can numb out a little bit, or and then I'm going to feel guilty about it, or I'm going to think I shouldn't have done it or whatnot. It's not a surprise why so many of us are deeply unhappy, because, like, we're waiting for some day to be able to do it. And so I want us to just start small. You can obviously take this, like, part of this stuff is, like, dreaming bigger and having as you go through this, like, your dream day might change, and that's great, creating more space and having more fun. But until you do that, we're gonna start small. It's like, what are just a couple of small things I can do every single day? What can I be present to that I'm doing already? What can I really extract all the joy from and, like, really sit in, like, how beautiful it feels to, like, have a hot cup of coffee? So that's your assignment this week, your dream life and your bliss list. Simple, but actually, like, extremely effective. I think that for all the boundaries and all the other stuff and eliminating, this might have more of an impact than a lot of other things, right? Where it's like, can I just find some space to have fun and to do something that I love? Any questions? Lizzie's saying, I love this assignment. I love this assignment too. I think it's the most fun assignment. Anybody have any questions or clarifications, concerns, or coaching? All the C's. Nope. All right. Well, that's all I got for you. Actually, this week we did keep it really short. It's the first week in 6 weeks that I wanted to keep it short, and I actually did. So this one is straightforward, but it only works if you actually do it. So don't just think about it and think about, like, oh, well, maybe, yeah, I kind of like drinking my coffee too. I want you to really think about what would bring me joy during my lunch break. Like, maybe it's actually taking a lunch break and going outside and eating your lunch. There's such little tweaks that you could do to find so much more joy in a day. And I think we just get caught in, like, well, it's easier. It's easier to just sit at my desk and answer emails. It's easier to not go on the walk. But is it easier if it ends up burning me out? Like, is it easier in the long run if I'm miserable and hate my life? Like, of course it's not. So, like, maybe I make it a little more difficult in the day to day and I inconvenience people, or I do things that might take a little bit longer on the back end because I took some time for myself. But I actually, like, enjoy going through my day. Yeah? All right, my friends. That's what I got for you for week 6. I hope that this was helpful. I'm glad you guys liked it. Okay. Bye, friends.